welcome back. Welcome back to Immediate Response. This is Diana's last child, all the way from the Valley with you. And now we have the Honorable Pio Glover Roll. Welcome to Immediate Response.
Good morning, friends. I'm so happy to be here, but I have to start this show.
Oh, go ahead.
On the way here, I went to my constituency this morning. I was serving breakfast to the school and welcoming the students and the teachers back. And every time I was listening, and every time I talk to Valley, you start again.
Yes.
I'm a Saxon, so the me and you can follow today.
Right.
I am from Mason's Edition. Yeah, you from the Valley. But I am the grand niece of Carlton E. Francis.
Oh, yes, that's right. So,
my cousin.
Sweet potato.
Okay, you understand.
Yeah, I got it.
Marshall Cooper, who the park is named after,
that's
is
right.
my great-grandfather.
Wow.
So I need you to know that
okay.
Saxon's in the place this morning.
All right. Woo! I must congratulate you on your appointment.
Thank you.
And the Prime Minister decided that he would get someone from the Saxons to be in this position.
Because he's a Valley like
He's
you.
a Valley, right? But no, it's seriously, you have done well. I've watched you from day one, and all the comments bear it out. You deserve this position. How do you feel this morning?
I am grateful. I'm grateful to God. It is in Him that I live, move, and have my being. He's my strength, He's my source, and He has equipped me for where He has placed me. And of course, I thank the Prime Minister for his confidence in me. First and foremost, for placing me in the cabinet anyway.
Yes.
In the first instance.
Right.
And now seeing that my work has, in His eyes, has spoken well enough that He would elevate me, that He would give me more. I am filled with a spirit of gratitude. My passion is workers, the labor force.
Yes.
I'm a human resource executive.
That's right.
And our agenda speaks to making sure that we take care of our Bahamian people. And the workforce, the Bahamian workforce is thousands of Bahamians. So I feel specifically responsible for taking care of thousands of people in our country. I count that a privilege. I will continue to serve at the very best I can, and I don't take this position for granted.
Awesome sauce. I just got a text just now from a lady says, you got a beautiful Saxon on your show, Spence. No talk about Valley. K. Francis.
That's my mom.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Hello, Mommy.
That's my good buddy. She says, I love my daughter. She really watches out for you. Yes. I see her comments on social media. Yes. But tell us about the work that you've been doing when you first took over.
Well, of course, I don't want to say it was easy for me, but it's always a bit easier if you know what you're coming into.
Right.
I was positioned by the Prime Minister in the Ministry of Public Service, so I felt like I was returning home because I've worked in the Ministry of Public Service.
Okay.
Fast forward to today, I've also worked in the Department of Labor, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So I felt coming in that I had a general idea of what the issues were. I mean, granted, it was about 6 years ago that I was there, but I had a general idea of what the issues were.
Yes.
And unfortunately, when I returned as the Minister of State, it was generally the same issues.
Yes.
So I was able to hit the ground running. Minister Fred Mitchell was an amazing minister to work with because we had a discussion on the way forward and what we envisioned for the ministry. Our thoughts were in line, and he allowed me to run with the vision. The vision was to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the public service, but ensuring that we increase our employee morale by responding to their needs.
Yes.
These long-standing issues, everybody who isn't even a public servant know the word P&P.
Right.
Getting persons confirmed, ensuring that we understand the importance of our employees enough and value our employees enough to confirm them and say to them, you've worked and now you are a part of the team, as opposed to having them in the balance for, in some instances, decades.
Yes.
Long-standing issues like confirmations, the cry of promotions. The last time a promotion exercise was done was the last time I was an employee
of
the public service. And of course, in work, yes, we work for pay or benefits, but reward and recognition is a very critical human resources factor.
Yes.
Everything isn't going to be monetary.
Right.
Some of it is going to be upward mobility and recognition of our employees. Very critical to employee morale. And then a lot of other little issues that are human resources issues that are low-hanging fruit, but in a well-functioning human resources department, which the Ministry of Public Service is for the government, these things should have been taken care of. The issue is we have a public service that's managed by policies that were created decades ago for a public service that's now evolved, evolved into a digital age, evolved in terms of thousands more employees. And of course, the fact that our public service reaches across the archipelago, so many dynamics that we had to fix. We have a public service commission that's constituted where it's a part-time board.
Yes.
But the part-time board can't continue to function at a part-time status if we have thousands of backlog issues. So the first step was to come up with a short-term strategy, which is employing task force whose specific goal and job is to focus on the issues, nothing else.
Right.
And that has proven to be quite effective.
Awesome. I have a comment. I can go to this comment now that you mentioned. Well, this is from a gentleman. He says, "Morning, Brother Spence. One of our biggest issues is that a minister will send out a request, and sometimes the PS do their own thing and deceive the minister. The poor ministers believe their request was delivered, but a lot of time the veteran PS does something else." Okay, that's
Sound like that person is speaking to a specific issue.
Yeah, that's how.
That's not exclusive to public service.
No, that's
in any work environment you can have issues of that sort.
That sounded totally different. There was one from Rudy Stubbs over in Freeport, who indicated that they were still waiting on funds. But you said you would speak to that.
Oh yes, Mr. Phillison. Public servants are still waiting, but thousands have already been addressed.
Awesome.
Thousands more in the pipeline.
Yes.
And it is my goal, and I meet public servants on the street, in the airport, on the other side to the
food
world.
store, yes.
And I assure them that our exercise is comprehensive, where we are looking to address the concerns of every public servant. It's not going to happen overnight. We're talking about decades of issues, but in 2 years, we've put a big dent in appeasing and getting these issues resolved. So it's coming. I like to tell public servants, first of all, we're doing a service-wide exercise which encompasses a very large portion of our public service. The public service also works on recommendations. We put out a circular calling for ministries to make recommendations, but we're being proactive. We have something that's called a nominal register. So if you, as a ministry, say, these are the recommendations for 50 employees, but we know you have 70, we're going to write back and ask you, send it out to 28, because we're not allowing anyone to slip through the cracks this time around. It's a process. It's taking time. We're analyzing the process as we work, because now we need to understand, how do we maybe shorten the process? How do we change the process in a way where we can be more efficient and more time conscious? But we're ensuring that we touch every ministry, and by virtue of touching every ministry, that we touch every public servant. So if you haven't received what's due to you yet, it's coming.
Yes. Minister, how were you able to aggressively and successfully deal with the P&Ps, as you mentioned?
So we have been working along with the Ministry of Finance, and our consultants have analyzed and given us the results to understand that a lot of what is falling through the cracks is simply because we are dealing with 23,000 plus public servants, and that's 23,000 plus files. Some persons have a volume of 10 files because they've been in the public service for so long.
Yes.
Some people have a volume of 2. So that's a lot of paper. And that makes room for human error. that makes room for people falling through the cracks, as much as I don't like that. Because if that human being that you say falls through the crack when it comes to the promotion, don't show up to work, you can remember them. You can notice that.
That's right.
So let's notice them for the things that matter. So in terms of handling the backlog, we're looking at employing, and we're doing well with that, along with the Ministry of Finance, an HRMIS system, which is a digital system, which speaks to putting our human resource documents in a digital form so that it's easily accessible. That cuts time significantly. People don't understand how much time is spent looking for files, going through files, analyzing files. If we can make that a digital process, that speeds up a part of the process. Then, of course, we have to ensure that our computer system now can give alerts. So, as a P&P worker, or people who are looking to be P&P, and they say, man, I was supposed to be confirmed 7 years ago, 12 years ago. But if a human being doesn't say, here, this person is up next or due, in an analog system, you can miss them. The beauty of a digital system is you get that alert. It's your time. Let's also look at amending legislation where we now say, and we're dabbling with this, and we're going to have a very aggressive legislative agenda when we return to Parliament, where we say, after a certain time, if you haven't been confirmed, maybe we need to put a system in place where it happens automatically. We can't have people's lives in the balance because of inefficiencies.
Yes.
I am adamant. We cannot have people's lives in the balance because of inefficiencies.
Allow me, Minister, to read a few comments from our Facebook page, and that's official Facebook page. Christopher Farrington says, social services workers are happy after 15 years of being weekly employees. Public officers are happy also. That's Christopher Farrington from the Department of Labor, who was on this program recently. Rose McPhee says, good morning, Dr. Spence, and a big welcome to my beautiful MP. She's a godsend to Golden Gate.
Amen.
That's the best minister in Parliament. May God bless her always. Derek Johnson says, good morning. Michelle Monroe, she said she loved the new system that you just mentioned. And Glenda Miller, Mr. Finlayson, you have my MP on today. I wish we had many more with the kind of heart she has. Congratulations to my MP, Pia Glover Roll.
Thank you.
Michelle Monroe said, love this lady, very hardworking. Brenda Knowles. Knowles. Now, you know Brenda.
I know her.
Brenda's a sucker.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Yeah, Brenda was after me. Brenda says, congratulations, Honorable Minister Rowe. Thank you so much for your devotion and dedication to the citizens of the Bahamas. Continue to soar. Thank you, Mr. Finlayson. Brenda, anytime. Okay, let's continue on. Some persons were... they thought that you might be able to share on the other changes in the cabinet.
Okay.
Let's get your opinion on some of them.
So
please.
You know, I don't want to leave anything out.
Okay.
And, you know, this just happened a few hours ago.
That's right. Still
so
fresh.
I'm going to make sure that I remember just going to the Prime Minister's speech of who he has ascended, and not so much ascended, but shuffled.
Yes,
because you've been to a basketball game before. You've been to SAC. I'm an ace.
Yeah, I know.
See me and you keep clashing.
I know.
Kindness aces.
Yes, I know.
But, you know, Catholic schools lead the way. So,
that's for sure, yes.
So we speak to, when you go to a basketball game, you have a starting lineup.
Right.
And throughout the course of the game, the coach,
you come
have a seat, let me get you on the court.
Yes.
So I don't see anything different when we talk about the cabinet.
Right.
It's a team.
Yes.
It's a big team. It's a strong team.
Yes. And you all have a strong bench, too.
Competent team.
Strong bench.
We do. Our qualifications are diverse, and our qualifications are vast. Many of us in the cabinet can play dual roles. Wow. We can play multiple roles because of our qualifications and our experience. The Prime Minister, in 2 years, we have achieved much in terms of our blueprint. We've checked off a lot of the boxes, and we're on the home stretch to 3 years to go, and now he's making the move to shuffle the bench.
Yes.
Put the strong. In terms of strong, I want to say the qualified ministers in the roles for the certain qualifications that he's going to require to meet the agenda.
Yes. Good stuff.
When you started the game, you know what everybody's qualifications were, but as they worked, as they moved, we are understanding where other person's strengths lie, and now you're doing some resetting, we're shuffling around. Everybody is still in the cabinet. That means it's a strong team.
Yes.
And we're making sure that we align with the change that is ahead. We've built a very strong foundation in 2 years. I think historically, and I followed politics for a while, in the 2 years that we have served, we've made extremely excellent progress in addressing issues.
Yes.
Everything is at a level of foundation. We had to rescue the economy. We had to reopen schools. We had to look at the healthcare facilities and the overflow that was there. We had to make some things happen as low-hanging fruit in the short term. Now we're in the medium term to long-term goals of ensuring that we build on that foundation. So that required some very minimal movements to ensure that we're aligning our competencies with the goals that the Prime Minister continues to have in terms of our blueprint and in terms of our agenda. So the shuffle wasn't a big one.
Well, right.
It was a few ministers moved around for maximum benefit to achieving our goal. So we talk about my colleague and I see that as one of the headlines that we were ascended to from ministers of state to minister. Thank you to the PM.
Yes.
That is our Honourable Jomo Campbell, the MP for Centerville, who's now been
from
moved.
The valley.
A man from and a strong valley. Me and him always Rowan Spence. Okay. All right then. Strong valley.
Strong valley.
He's now been moved from the AG's office to the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources because as the Minister of State for Legal Affairs, we understand that he has had many successes.
Yes.
He's done a great job. He has reduced the judicial backlog. There's been a lot of backlog, Mr. Finlayson. He's improved help in the improvement of conviction rates and expanding the capacity of prosecutorial work. He's done the work. And now the Prime Minister is shifting him with his excellence that he has served with in the AG's office to give him a responsibility unto himself as the substantive minister.
Yes.
And he's going to build on the foundation that another star player, Minister Clay Sweeting, PM tells us he has a team of star players, and we received that.
Yes.
We it's all in leadership, and he's an exemplary leader in terms of the motivation and the confidence that he places in our team. We have experienced ministers, and we have those who are new and young with fresh perspectives, and the PM does an excellent job of ensuring that the whole bench is in the game.
Oh, good stuff, Minister.
We're looking forward to Minister Campbell improving on the food security and food sustainability initiatives that Minister Clay Sweeting would have started in the Ministry of Agriculture. Minister Clay Sweeting would move on to the Ministry of Works and Family Island Affairs. He's done so much in agriculture, expanding education, training, opportunities, programs for support for farmers and the fishery industry. He's recently launched, and I'm sure Minister Campbell will continue to take the reins with that, our Golden Yoke Initiative.
Oh, yes, very important.
Which is the initiative for the local egg production.
Very important.
Being able to feed ourselves. He's launched and expanded the poultry production industry, again, feeding ourselves, food security, food sustainability, reopening the packing houses. So now as Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs, we expect that he's going to continue to build on his success.
For sure.
He's going to have a leading hand in the infrastructural projects for the family islands. And he's a family island
He's a family island MP, that's right.
So how perfect is that?
Good stuff.
So we trust that his success will continue. Family Island airports are a major part of our agenda. He will be working in tandem, I'm sure, with the Minister of Tourism and Aviation in leading the way and making sure that we accomplish that goal. So that work is going to continue. Minister Clay Sweeting is going to take the helm, and he's ready, I'm sure, on day one. We have Minister Alfred Sayers, I think.
Yes.
He's our new Minister of Immigration and National Insurance. Mr. Sayers is a veteran leader and politician. I like the word leader.
Yes.
He's a veteran leader. He has started the work. There's been many challenges, but he started the work on the infrastructural improvements across our country. I live in the East Village Road. I traverse that, and it's great. I'm enjoying Village Road.
The new Village Road.
The new Village Road. He, along with the Minister of Education, have done well in terms of school repairs. You know, we used to, in the past, historically, I remember school repairs going into September, October.
Right.
For the past 2 years, we've been on target.
Exactly.
Schools have been able to open, maybe one or two little issues, but school has been able to open. So he's ably led that. He's served in previous administrations as our Attorney General, as a Minister of Education, so he understands the issues in education.
He's an experienced man.
He is absolutely experienced, and he'll now take that experience to oversee a very critical part of our social infrastructure, which is the National Insurance Board, modernizing the systems. We're definitely, as an administration, seeking to modernize a lot of our ministries and departments for efficiency and effectiveness, and for easier access for the public in whom we serve. He's going to guide the process with NIB, and he's going to, of course, as a noted attorney himself, look at our immigration policies and procedures and the reforms that are needed, as well as ensuring that we continue to keep our borders secure.
Good stuff.
So I could keep going.
Just a couple of comments.
Okay.
Woody Woodside says he hopes that you remember what he told you, that you were going to go far.
Yes,
he says that on our page. Latoya Maddox says, congratulations. Go Aces. She said she went to school with you at Aquinas.
All right, Aces.
Clay, I almost see. But Glenda Miller said, Clay Sweeting, my homie, congratulations.
Sure.
Latara Rose said, you're doing a great job with your ministerial portfolio.
Thank you.
And Brenda Lane Wilson, all the way in Atlanta, says, this government is a winner for taking care of the family islanders and making use of resources. Thank you, Brenda Lane. And you can continue.
Brenda Lane. This Davis administration is led by two family island men, the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister.
Great man from Exuma.
With the baby people, they'll be fooled not to take care of the family. But you know, from day one, we came in and we said we would not govern from a Nassau-centric approach, and we have done that. We have given great priority to our family islands. We're looking at making strategic, important, and achievements on our family islands, because we understand that Nassau-centric approach isn't going to work anymore.
Exactly.
There are hundreds or thousands of Bahamians who also live in our family islands. What are we doing to ensure that their quality of life is improved, is better? So we're being very responsive to the needs in family islands. You're seeing improvements in roads. You're seeing improvements in healthcare facilities.
Yes.
You're seeing improvements in the schools. You're seeing improvements in capital works projects. And you just saw last week, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Prime Minister making improvements on his islands, Sagada Island in Salvador, in terms of green spaces and recreational spaces. So the work is happening. The family islands are on the move. And Brenda Lane, your observation is absolutely correct.
Okay, gets a couple more comments. Now, Jackie Marks says, good morning and congratulations, Minister Glover Roll. What about Chief Clerk, who were in a position for years? That's a question. And then Kendrick Knowles says, what an amazing minister and MP.
Wow.
Peer for progress every day.
Amen.
Kendrick Knowles, my brother Kendrick. That lady.
Chief Clerk. So we're the service-wide promotion exercise is in train. And we hope that we anticipate that we will have it completed within the next few weeks. This is going to be an excellent boost to our public servants.
Wow.
We continue simultaneously to process promotions as we receive recommendations from ministries. This is an ongoing, every day. And I tell people all the time, I brag about the amazing staff at the Ministry of Public Service.
Yes.
They work 7 days.
Right.
Pass on Meeting Street on a Saturday and
Everybody's
Sunday.
there.
People to work.
Yes.
Because we understand the mission. We understand that the agenda is aggressive, but we're prepared to do the work for the people.
Good stuff, good stuff. What we're going to do right now is to go to our break, but when we come back, we'll continue. Kendrick Knowles, he says, what an amazing minister and MP. Yes. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't touch your dial. Minister Pierre Glover Roll is coming right back. We got
ZNS wants to thank all those who entered the new college freshman giveaway. And out of all the entries, 15 finalists have been chosen. These finalists will be receiving prizes from Comfort Suites, Security Depot, Atlantis Resort, Cafe Channing Noel, and BTC. We want to thank our sponsors for these wonderful prizes. We also want to send all contestants the very best wishes and good luck on a successful freshman year in college.
When a hurricane watch or warning is issued, medical emergency services are placed on high alert. For many persons seeking medical care, defining what an emergency is can be difficult to assess given all that is occurring during the storm. The following basic guidelines are designed to help you assess your emergency. If you are experiencing symptoms like shortness of breath, chest pain, severe pain, disorientation, extreme vomiting or diarrhea, vision disturbance, or suicidal thoughts, you should seek immediate medical assistance. If you are bleeding significantly or otherwise severely injured, seek emergency assistance immediately. Children presenting with symptoms like high fever and extremely listless or lethargic behavior need to be taken to the emergency room immediately. If you are unsure of the extent of your condition, you are advised to seek medical assistance immediately. Share your symptoms with the on-call doctor and get advice as to whether or not it can wait until normal business hours. Remember, emergency care is not a convenient option for basic medical care during a storm. The Public Hospitals Authority encourages members of the public to use these basic guidelines to help decide on whether something is an emergency or not. The authority reminds the public that in the case of an emergency, always call 919 or head immediately to the emergency room. This message has been brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Your risk of developing colon cancer is increased if you have a personal history of colorectal cancer or colon polyps, a family history of colon cancer, or inflammatory bowel diseases such as ulcerative colitis. Other factors that can increase your risk of developing colon cancer are low-fiber, high-fat diets, a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, smoking, and alcohol. You can take steps to reduce your risk of colon cancer by making specific lifestyle changes. Eat a variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. These foods contain fiber, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants, which may play a role in cancer prevention. Drink alcohol in moderation or not at all. Do not smoke. Exercise with a goal of getting in at least 30 minutes each day. If you've been inactive, start slowly and gradually build up to 30 minutes. Also, talk to your doctor before starting any exercise program. Maintain a healthy weight. If you're at a healthy weight, maintain it by combining a well-balanced diet with daily exercise. If you need to lose weight, ask your doctor about healthy ways to achieve your goal. Colon cancer screening can also help to prevent colon cancer or lead to its early detection when treatment is most effective. If you're 45 years or older, speak to your doctor about having a colonoscopy or some form of colon cancer screening that may be appropriate for you. I'm Dr. Eugene Marcus Cooper. Pay attention to your health. Get the facts and discuss colon cancer with your physician today.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Our marine resources were once considered inexhaustible. Conch and reef fish like grouper were abundant everywhere, and it seemed as if the lobster catch would rise forever. But today, there is a downward trend that affects everyone. Researchers say we can reverse the trend by protecting more marine habitats. And the good news is that most Bahamians strongly support efforts to halt further decline. Tripling the size of our network of marine parks will mean more fish and conch for everyone now and for the future, as well as more recreational and ecotourism opportunities. Today, only 10% of our waters are protected. Surveys show that most Bahamians consider protection of our marine environment to be a top national priority. More protection means more benefits for everyone, now and in the future. It's a win-win-win strategy for the economy, for Bahamians, and for nature. Protect our sea, protect our way of life, protect the Bahamas. See the future. Visit Bahamas Protected on Facebook to learn more about marine protected areas.
I feel like I know him from the softball.
Welcome back to Immediate Response. We're having a wonderful show here today with the Minister Pia Glover-Roll. Good to see you again. I just want to read these couple comments and then we can go.
Sure.
Clark Ferguson, LeVar Hilton Roll says, she speaks well on behalf of the government and their accomplishments. The fixes this administration has to do can't be completed in its first, second, or third year when it's a decade of adjustments that has to be done. Congrats to the new minister.
Thank you.
And the team will do well. Now, Marsha Major says, congratulations to you. She says, Labor poses quite a challenge, but I have no doubt that she's up to the challenge. And she wish you well. Absolutely. Glenda Miller says, I pray that all of our naysayers are watching and listening attentively. And Sophia Roll finally says, congratulations goes out to the hard-working minister from your constituents in Golden Gates. Appointment well deserved. She's simply the best. L.M. Bryce says, wonderful job, Minister Pierce. Super proud of her and her accomplishments. She will always do her best. Okay. Now, I know you want to go off into another area now. You may go ahead, Minister.
So I have to ensure that I celebrate all of my colleagues.
Of course.
Well, listen, you're going to cost me getting trouble.
No, all. Let's
sit to the table.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about our new Minister of Energy and Transport. And I say new because energy is new.
It is new.
And this speaks to the Prime Minister's responsiveness to the issues.
Right.
He is a leader in the world. In the region, yes, but in the world on the topics of climate change and how that translates into energy, emissions issues, and the overall conversation of how are we going to fix the energy issue. The energy issue isn't exclusive to the Bahamas, Mr. Vincent.
Okay.
The energy issue, the conversation is a global conversation right now. Our former Minister of Housing and Transport, who did an exemplary job in revitalizing the housing industry, the housing facilitation in the Bahamas for Bahamians. You know, we always talk about home ownership for Bahamians. She launched Pinegrass, she launched Renaissance, and we talk about not being Nassau-centric. She's also launched housing development, and I think it's Abaco and Eleuthera, if I'm not mistaken. So, non-Nassau-centric approach. She's laid the foundation, and she's done an exemplary job in doing so. Now she's very responsive. Yes. I had a reason to call her on an occasion. She answered my call, and we're here to serve. Yes, so she's very responsive. She understands the assignment. Yes, okay. So Minister Javette Kobe Davis, she continues to take the lead with transport, and of course she has a very heavy load with energy because I know I scroll on social media and I see the comments about electricity bill, but we all have electricity bills. I don't want people to think that politicians don't have electricity bills. Right. And we pay our bills. So we understand that the costs have increased. Some of it is most of it is outside of our control. But I think the Prime Minister has stated that she's an energy expert. She's coming out of the energy industry. She says that she has done her thesis on energy reform. Now it's time to put the theory into the practical. And the fact that our Prime Minister has given her the opportunity to do that, I'm looking forward to transformative change because she's a woman of action.
Yes.
She's a hard worker, and I know that she will lead the charge. She's taking the seat in a time when it's already some issues that I'm going to help her with, because I know that the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union would have been successful in a strike vote on Friday.
Yes.
And we're gonna work together. I'm all for ensuring that we provide the best possible conditions for our workers. If their requests and concerns are reasonable, we have no issues in ensuring that what needs to happen, but we have to look at the issues. And with she and I together, I have a good feeling about it. So our minister, we're going to do our very best to get it done. So our Minister of Energy and Transport, very exciting, speaks to the progressiveness of our Prime Minister's thinking with his cabinet.
Good stuff.
I will be taking the helm at the Department of Labor. Now I will be the Minister, as you know, of Labor and Public Service.
Yes.
And the Honorable Keith Bell, he now assumes housing and urban renewal.
Yes.
And I will be taking a portion of where he was, which is immigration and labor, and on to the labor component, where I've been an employee as well. I understand labor. I'm a certified labor advocate. I've studied employment and employment law and labor law.
You come well
I've been involved in the industry.
You come well qualified.
So this is. I'm a student of many labor greats.
Yes.
And I'm going to say good morning to my former teacher, Mr. Obie Ferguson, President
Great
Obie
man,
Ferguson,
man
KC.
from lovely Bay Auckland.
All right,
good
now.
Man.
And he is one of the best.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that he's somebody that I would have trained under. So taking the helm at labor is something that is, I feel, a good fit. I'm poised and positioned based on the foundation that has already been laid by Minister Bell in terms of our international and local labor relations. We're going to continue the work of harmonious labor relations. We have successfully signed 22 industrial agreements in 23 months.
My God.
Mr. Finlayson, that's no small feat.
No, that's not. No, that's a big one. That's a big accomplishment.
And I am grateful
Minister.
To our labor relations unit, that is led by Mr. Bernard Evans. That includes some of the great labor minds in our country that we got the job done.
Yes.
We knew what we had to do.
Mm-hmm.
We sat down and we made it happen. Labor negotiations can sometimes be contentious, and it's not always contentious. And there's sometimes contention, but that's what the definition of negotiations mean.
Exactly.
To speak back and forth until you get a resolve. We've done it, and we're going to be proactive going forward as well. You know, I've already given a charge to the labor relations. Okay, the union agreements that have been signed, the industrial agreements that have been signed. Take a breath, and the next day, let's start to work on the agreement again, so that when the deadline comes, when it expires, we don't have to have our workers and our unions and the leaders of our unions disenfranchised by waiting on an agreement. We know when it's going to expire.
Exactly.
Let's be proactive.
Yes.
Let's be ready to sign within a week after it's expired, because during the course of the agreement, we're going to continue to do the work and make the improvements and negotiate and stay at the table. So harmonious labor relationships are going to continue in terms of me taking the helm at labor. Of course, we want to look at the labor force of the country. We want to continue to drive down the unemployment rate in our nation. We're currently lower than we've been since 2018.
And
we want to continue to drive that down.
That's a good thing.
I tell people all the time, jobs are available, but we have to be able to engage the jobs. So what does that mean? The National Training Agency also falls under my portfolio in terms of Department of Labor.
Okay.
Training and the workforce go hand in hand.
Yes.
We've done a good job, I think, in the last 2 years of understanding how to set people up to win. That means at the onboarding process, making sure that the orientation process is comprehensive.
And that is so important, Minister.
Yeah, well, you are training.
Yes,
You're a trainer.
Yes, so I know.
I preach into the choir.
Yes, that's so important.
But I think what we've failed to do in a lot of instances is set people up to win at the onset.
Yes.
So we've revamped the way we onboard. We've revamped the training, and we're constantly revamping our training to get it to a comprehensive and robust model where public servants can continuously upskill, improve their skills,
and that is so important,
and engage the training they need to do well, so that our Bahamian workers can engage the job opportunities that are available. I'm all for it.
Good stuff. We have a call on the line from Exuma.
Sure.
Mr. Gray, good morning. Welcome to Immediate Response.
Good morning, sir. An excellent show.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to congratulate the minister for an excellent job that she's doing.
Thank you, sir.
I hope the rest would follow her leadership.
Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Gray.
No problem at all. Everyone have a beautiful day. And Minister, excellent job. Continue doing.
Thank you from the most beautiful island in the Bahamas.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Brother Gray. Yes.
All right.
Bernadette Gardner says, good morning, Spence, and to your guest, Ms. Pia Glover. My congratulations to her on her elevation to Minister of Labor and the Public Service. By the way, I loved her performance and that fella's look she brought in the basketball game, passes against the politicians. Ariane Davis says, congratulations, Minister. Anna Mae Strawn said, Ms. Glover, you're an amazing woman. Congratulations and continue to serve with excellence. And yes, there's one more. No, that was a comment. So Labor now, you're very comfortable in Labor because, you're going back. You had a stint.
I had a stint at the Department of Labor. Mm-hmm. People have already started to ask, what's the mission? The mission is to ensure that we're meeting the needs of the Bahamian workforce.
Yes.
To ensure that we're engaging as many Bahamians in good, decent work.
Yes.
And it works well with the Ministry of Public Service because we are the landlord. Public Service is the landlord of the government, which is responsible for government buildings or accommodations. And a part of the Decent Work Program that was signed on, the ILO Decent Work Program that was signed on by our Prime Minister in October of 2021, speaks to decent work conditions, not only benefits, but also the physical work conditions. So these two ministries work hand in hand. I tell you, our Prime Minister is a political genius. He knows what he's doing.
Yes.
He has the experience and the know-how, and it's obvious in the way that he's paired a lot of our new portfolios. I have had the good opportunity when I worked at the Department of Labor last to be very involved in the job bank, the skills job bank.
Oh, okay.
So I'm happy to get to that point again because I think there's always been a gap in the message to our citizens. People think that they should register in the Skills Bank when they're looking for a job.
Okay.
The Skills Bank is exactly what it says it is.
It's the Skills Bank.
We want to register the skills that our country has, the skills that the citizens of our country have, so that when the Department of Labor gets a request to bring in a foreigner for a certain post, we can easily refer and say, no, we have Bahamians qualified.
Exactly.
They may be employed, but we absolutely may have Bahamians qualified. And this speaks to Bahamians that are outside of the Bahamas.
That's a good thing.
Wherever you are in the world, as a Bahamian, register your skills. We do want to boast about the Bahamians that are skilled in fields that are maybe non-traditional. We have Bahamian astronauts, we have Bahamian engineers, we have Bahamian that are doing great things around the world and here in our country. So we want to register in our skills bank so that we can understand, and it goes back to my favorite thing, training.
Yes.
We can understand where are the gaps.
Right.
What do we need to train for? Do we need more masons? Do we need more elevator technicians? Do we need more pharmacists? Now we can speak to as an administration, as a government, planning. So now we need to offer scholarships that speak to those career paths because it all works together for the good. I'm excited about labor. I'm excited about human resources and the work that is to be done for our public servants and those private sector companies and employees that will engage through labor, because now labor extends to the private sector and speaking to how heads of agreements are responded to. Conciliation matters. I'm skilled in that area. I've done work in the Industrial Tribunal, but understanding how we get to amicable conciliations. That is all that's going to fall under labor. I'm looking forward to the challenge, yes. It's a challenge, but that's why we have a job, because we have to support.
Christopher Barrington says that they're excited over at Labor, waiting for you to come.
I'll be there soon.
He said, we're excited about what's to come at Labor. Cayman Evans says, one of the hardest working ministers. Congratulations, a well-deserved promotion. Theodora Young, congratulations to Minister Glover. Such a beautiful and amazing person. Continue to excel. You have certainly won the hearts of the entire nation, my dear. And you've been a worker, a performer. And that's
what we're hired to do.
Yeah, a lot of people fall down in that area. They're not performers. But you have been a performer. So labor's in good stead, and of course the public service.
Absolutely.
Where you made your mark.
Absolutely. Where it isn't in good stead, I'm going to work hard to get it there. It's a work. Everything is a work in progress. But the point is, we have to make progressive changes. We have to be consistent, and we have to ensure, most importantly, this is a tagline of mine, we have to make sure that we're responsive to the concerns, the issues that the Bahamian citizens express. We have to listen.
Yes.
I think we're doing a good job at listening. Social media and talk shows like this allow us to hear what the people are thinking. We can't have thin skin.
No.
We have to have thick skin and broad shoulders, because this is what we signed up for.
Exactly.
So if this is what we're signed up for, we have to be able to understand, to take the highs with the lows, the hills and the valleys, but most importantly, our agenda, the Davis administration's agenda, our Prime Minister, in his full compassionate place that he's an amazingly compassionate leader.
Yes.
The goal is always responsiveness to the concerns of the Bahamian people. And we are in a generation. I have 2 teenagers, Mr. Phillips.
Oh, okay.
This is the instant generation.
Very much so.
This is the microwave generation.
Yes. Now.
So like you say, somebody say they've been waiting in public service.
Yeah.
You've been waiting for decades.
That's right.
We're getting there. It's only been 2 years.
That's right.
But it's a work in progress. We're seeing the incremental improvements. We're seeing the incremental progress. It's going to take time to get there. We think we've made great headway. We're going to build on that foundation. We're going to be responsive to our citizens. And at the end of the day, we're going to make sure that we do our best to respond to the concerns of the people of the Bahamas.
I need to read this quote, Minister. This is from my friend Philip Bryce. He's from the Valley, but he's in Palm Beach.
All right.
He manages a top hotel in Palm Beach. He was in New York first, and now he's moved down to.
Okay.
But he says we should all feel honored to have her as a minister.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations to her, and all the best to her in the future. Yeah, he's a top hotel manager. Like you said, Bahamians are all over. And I took the show to Atlanta. We broadcasted live. And there was a Bahamian named Lanthro Monroe from Ragged Island, who was a film producer for Tyler Perry Studios.
That's right.
So we have so many. And there was a Bahamian from Topham Bay, Dr. Jason Carey, who is a cancer doctor in Houston.
Bahamians are
all over.
Doing great things.
Doing big things, yes. And you hit the nail on the head. So anything new coming up on the horizon for the public service? I know you've been at it for a while.
The big thing that is, I think, going to be a big feather in this administration's cap is the digitalization of the public service.
Yes.
Again, I go back to the point that, people say it ain't happened yet, or it ain't happened quickly enough, but it's a process, and we're in train with these processes of document management and working towards a comprehensive HR management, digital management system. That's going to be huge.
Yes.
Because I tell people when we have our markers, we should say this was an issue at the beginning, but that's no longer an issue. That is something, the digitalization of the public service is something that will help us to cross off the delays. And the delays are linked to everything. Promotions, confirmation, sometimes compensation. Sometimes people are having issues or long delays in getting their gratuities and their pensions. These things people should not have to wait for. So the digitalization is going to be critical.
But I like how you've been explaining it to people, persons, some of the information you brought out, people never heard before.
Okay.
And you've been explaining it, why this didn't happen, why it's taking long. I think we have a caller on the line.
Sure.
Welcome to Immediate Response. Good morning.
Good morning, Spence. How are you all this morning?
I'm standing on the promises of God. How are you?
I'm fine. Congratulations to Ms. Glover. I was trying to reach her, but I'm glad I reached her on air.
Thank you.
But I would like to give her a number for someone who would like to speak with her off air.
Let me give you a number. I ain't bring no pen.
Let me get you a pen.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is my public service, Mr. Finlayson. I have a dedicated public service WhatsApp hotline.
Awesome.
Okay.
And this is, ma'am, this is for, you can send a text note or a voice note. And I will respond. I promise you that.
She does.
So the WhatsApp line is 476
476
83 50. So I respond to hundreds of public servants across the country who have issues. So I'll look forward to hearing from you or whomever has a concern regarding the public service.
Yes, I will give him the number right now.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're doing an excellent job.
Thank you, ma'am. God bless you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just want to read a text from Godfrey Brown. He says, good morning, sir. Would just like to congratulate the minister. I think she is real because she has a place in her heart for the physically challenged. God bless you, my dear. Thank you, Brother Brown. Kayla Edgecombe says, congratulations, Minister Pierre Glover. There's a funny comment in a sense. Pauline Burrows says, congratulations to the minister. Hard work pays off. I am so sorry that you were not in the public service in my working days.
I have heard that so many times.
I'm sure you would have, I would have heard that.
But I'll speak to, and this goes back to, I think we all carry the torch of our leader in terms of compassionate leadership.
And he's a compassionate man.
He's absolutely compassionate, and he's always been that way. I am definitely an advocate for differently abled. That's what they tell me. They say they're not disabled, and I agree with them.
Yes, so you have to be politically correct with the terminology.
Because where they have weaknesses, their strengths also exist.
Yes.
So I'm definitely a champion and advocate for the differently abled community of our country, having introduced for the first time in our reimagination of our 52-week program the ability and the option for us to hire differently abled. We hired 30 last year.
Wow.
These people are soaring in their respective roles, and they feel like they have a new lease on life. And what a fulfilling experience as a leader to be able to see people who have just been begging for a chance, given that chance. So our differently able are doing well. We're going to take more on. It's the goal to take differently abled persons on into the public service as we do our annual exercises, and that also gives us accountability. Again, I go back to being the landlord of the government now.
Exactly.
I have to make sure that these people can access the buildings that are government buildings. This now helps us to ensure that the public is able, who's differently able, to access our buildings. So the sensitivity of the needs of all Bahamians is now encapsulated in our vision for ensuring that there's inclusivity. I'm an advocate for mental health. I'm happy that our government was able to bring legislation in terms of the Mental Health Act, and I see that mushrooming into so many great things. Now being at the Department of Labor, I've been an advocate, and now I can take the lead.
Exactly.
At understanding, do we need maybe the possibility for workers in our nation to access mental health days?
Yes.
It's not a sick day. It's not a vacation day.
Yes.
Mental health is good health. So it's so many things that it now gives you the opportunity to lead and to determine if it's something that we want to go in the direction. But absolutely the inclusion of every Bahamian is a part of our blueprint and our agenda as this administration moves forward.
Awesome. There are a lot of people on this line trying to get in to say something to you, Minister. You've made such an impact.
Thank you.
We have about 3 minutes left.
That's
I'm
not
going to
long.
I'm going to let you run with it. But I want to read a comment from Martha Moncus. Says, Minister, continue to excel. Always put God in front, whatever you do, working for your people. Martha Monka, and Patricia Paul Johnson. Congratulations to my dear friend,
thank you,
Minister
Pat.
Pierre Glover. So proud of you, my dear.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to allow you for the remaining moments of the show to just run with what God has laid on your heart for this nation of ours.
So, Phyllis, thank you for the opportunity to be here.
You're welcome. It's my honor.
I want our Bahamians to know that this Davis administration, we've done the work and we continue to do the work. We came in a mode of rescue.
Yes.
We think that we are now at a place where we've built a strong foundation. And, you know, when you build a foundation now, from there you go up.
Yes.
And you
right.
build. I think that we have done a lot, but we know that there's a whole lot more to be done, and we're not afraid of that. Yes, we hear your concerns about electricity, we hear concerns about the road. We know you want to own homes. We know you want well-paying jobs. We know you want good benefits. We know you want our healthcare system to be improved. All of these things are in motion. We're responding to the needs, but we want to make sure that we're doing it well.
Yes.
We're being comprehensive in our approach, and at the end of the process, you know, that people are able to say, okay, it was a bumpy road getting there and it took a little longer than we expected, but we were able to achieve. We're on the road in our 3 years to go to achievement, to checking off all of the boxes and ensuring good living conditions, a wonderful country of happy citizens, and our focus is the Bahamian people, not in Nassau, but throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and where we can extend to those Bahamians that are outside of the Bahamas. But the goal is to ensure that we're responsive to the needs and the concerns of the Bahamian people.
Thank you so much. We're fresh out of time. Thank you. I appreciate you, Minister, for stopping by today, doing an excellent job. We've come to the end of the program, but I want to thank the following persons for making the show possible today. Portia Fernanda, our TV producer. Delilah Strap, our production assistant. Hope Shelley Yan, Sean the Dapper Dawn, and Barefoot in Radio. Kadish Wilchcomb and Virgil Albury in Master Control. Tanaj Fraser and Neil Benjamin, an engineer. And Philippa Stirrup, our guest coordinator. Tune in again tomorrow for another scintillating program on Immediate Response. God bless you as you live your best life now.